about to head out on another plein air adventure today. The weather is absolutely perfect. So this is called Flatiron's Vista Trail, and it's only 20 minutes from my house. We've got these perfect fluffy clouds today, and the sun is shining. It's 70 degrees. I can't wait. So today I'm going to be focusing on value studies, and I don't know if I'm going to do a complete painting or not today, but I'm really trying to work on composition and just seeing a good composition first of all, and what potential lies there, because often a perfect composition is not going to present itself to you half the time. You have to just look for it and also create your own compositions. So big challenges ahead, but I'm excited to try it out today. I have all my gear. I'm going to pack it up and we'll start the hike. I have so much stuff. I've got my camera right here and my backpack with 2 tripods. One is for my painting stuff or for my easel, and the other is for my camera. So those of you who aren't filming when you paint don't need all this crap, fortunately, because it is kind of heavy. But I'm excited to do this because it's good exercise. I get to be outside and just look at this. It's amazing out here. So I found this nice shady spot right here, and if you look around, there's just vista after vista of beauty. There's some trees, there are these amazing clouds. Look at how great those are. So endless possibilities for composition and sketching. So I'm going to stop here and just do a little sketching, maybe try to do 2 or 3 different value studies and see if any of them are good for a painting. So the goal today is to try to capture as many good compositions as we can, and whether that means seeing them perfectly right in front of us, which is rare, or creating our own compositions. We have plenty of inspiration right here. So let's set up. I've got my Plein Air's My Happy Place t-shirt on today. I designed this myself. We'll start with just a couple of thumbnail sketches. I'm not even gonna set up my easel for this. I'm just gonna try to capture the contrast, the light and value, and just do a couple of little compositions and see if they're actually gonna amount to anything. So we'll start there. This is just an ordinary Strathmore sketch pad, and a thumbnail sketch is just a small drawing that shows your basic composition, the value structure of your entire piece. If you want to work on your composition, this is such a great way to practice. It's something I'm always trying to work on, and I find it really difficult, so that means I should do it more, right? Take a moment to really study what's in front of you before diving in. It will benefit your final composition if you're unrushed and thoughtful, weighing the possibilities next to one another before beginning. Now, while I did not do a painting of this view, I will save my sketch for later. So for this one, I'm trying to capture this swooping, enormous cloud that's overhead, and there will be some sky here, which of course will be darker in value than the cloud. That'll be blue. Of course, you don't have to worry about color when you're doing thumbnail sketches. That's the nice thing. Just getting this poofy cloud up here and just the expression of that. And the split in the mountain, and this mountain here kind of lit up. I like the shape of that. It sort of mimics the shape of the cloud. This could be a cool composition. I might return to it for a studio painting, and I did take some reference photos. The nice thing about having this thumbnail sketch is that I can use it as my compositional guide rather than feeling limited by just the reference photos. This is my Yugo tripod, and I brought my pochade box, and right now I'm really attracted to this tree, the mountain, the shape of the tree and the mountain. There's kind of this V shape, a dip in it, and then the clouds just cascading out. Today is really all about the clouds. It's just the most beautiful weather. I've already spotted a coyote. There's some elk over there just hanging out. I am so lucky that I get to live here and paint here, but even with all this magnificent scenery, it's still difficult to create a really good composition. It takes a lot of practice, so that's something I'm working on today. This is my Yugo pochade box. It's size 6x8, it's the smallest one they make, and I love how portable it is. You can use this for watercolors or for oils. It's quite versatile. Unfortunately, the side panels you have to buy separately. I experiment with new setups all the time, but this is one I just keep coming back to. I really like working on this cold pressed paper. Winsor & Newton is always great, and I always pack bullet travel brushes, and with this particular pochade box, metal tins of paints generally work best. So today I'm using my Sennelier set of 12. Before beginning an actual painting, I did another super quick sketch just to help me lock down my composition. This made it easier to then draw it in more detail onto my watercolor paper. The sketch is so important for helping you establish major shapes. So you can see I've blocked in all the important elements like this tree in the foreground and the shape of the mountain. I was struggling with getting it low enough in comparison to the height of this tree. That was definitely a challenge on such a small composition. You've got this massive sky in front of you, and I want so much of the clouds in this, and so I have to keep shrinking this down in order to get some of the impact of those clouds. So that's kind of the challenge with this composition. It's a good idea to keep taking pictures too, so you can come back and you could always do another painting. All right, so let's get started. This is going to be tricky. I've got bright sunlight on my paper today, so my paper is going to dry out really fast. But I'm going to start by spraying it, and we'll get a good coating of water on there. It's going to dry almost right away, but we'll just try it, see how it goes here. Love the sound of those birds. Not so much the airplane noise, that's kind of getting old, but I want to do the clouds first because they're in the background and they're also probably the most important thing to me in this painting. I'm going to exaggerate the tilt of those clouds coming up. I want it to just look like this spiral going this way rather than straight across. Remember that as the artist, you can move things around, change things, craft your painting in a way that makes a better composition. Don't just try to create a perfect copy of what is right in front of you. When you're working from life and the clouds and lighting are constantly shifting, this actually forces you to commit to a snapshot, a composition that you've planned out. With watercolor, there's very little margin for error or for fixing things as you work. So the more you get to know watercolor, the more you understand it becomes extra important to make your composition the number one thing you nail down before starting. And just like that, my paper's already dry. Ooh. Gotta work fast around here. Well, so now that my paper's dry already, I can just go ahead and block in the blue part of the sky. Might be a good opportunity to do that, since that will need to be a little bit of a harder edge up against the edge of the white cloud at the top. And then accidentally splattering your paper can sometimes be a problem. This painting was really challenging for me, and plein air painting always is challenging, but in particular because I had, of course, the sun right on my paper. I am going to be purchasing an umbrella soon, and I think that will help with shading my painting while I work. Also, because of the sunlight, I was struggling with getting correct colors and values, but I can't blame the sun altogether. This is honestly something I struggle with all the time. You can see that one little tree, I just made it a little bit too dark. There are lots of things looking back that I would have changed or tried to do different, but I was giving it my best effort in this moment, so that's all I can ask of myself. I was pretty happy with the clouds considering they were moving so fast. I pretty much had to make them up or copy them from other portions of the sky, and I think I got the colors pretty close in those mountains. Trees are something I really do struggle with too. I think everyone finds their own unique brushwork style for painting trees, especially plein air. I made mine a little bit blobby. I don't feel like they were very distinct, and I think I should have had a stronger general shape in that background. Now for my foreground tree, I used a combination of nickel azo yellow and Payne's gray, which actually makes a really nice earthy green. It gave me a variety of values to work with, so I could do light and dark within the tree using the same mix. Again, though, I still really struggle with foliage in general and just making stronger shapes. This is something I want to work on and practice the more I get outside and plein air paint. Trees are just challenging, and I think if I could start to see them as more giant shapes rather than individual branches, that would help a lot. I'm still fairly new to plein air painting. I've only been doing it for a handful of years, so I try to give myself grace when I get outside and work at it. And I'm documenting for all of you to see. As I continue to learn and grow, I will try to share everything that I learn with you. Well, Well, here's the finished painting. You can see the gorgeous scenery behind me and the composition that I chose for the painting today. I'm going to try to get a couple more thumbnail sketches because I have a couple hours before it's time to pick up the kids and the weather is just perfect. So I'm going to stay out here a little longer and see what else I can capture with a thumbnail sketch. Now, the advantage to having your thumbnail sketches is that you can always go back to your studio and create a full painting based on those thumbnail sketches, even if the scenery changes in 5 minutes, which it will, especially when there's a breeze and you've got all these clouds that are constantly shifting and moving. You can take a snapshot with your value study and do a complete painting back at your house. So there are so many advantages to painting outdoors, and of course you can't beat the practice and just the opportunity to be one with nature. Well, that was a lot of fun. I got some great reference photos of these super dramatic clouds, and I just got to be outside and hike and enjoy the beautiful weather. So that's the best part to me of plein air painting. As far as compositions, I got a little bit of practice in a couple of those little thumbnail sketches, and I just couldn't help myself. I had to dive in with a painting. I think I need to learn to be more patient and to just approach this from more of a perspective of, hey, this is practice. It's okay if you don't have a successful painting. I think so often we go into these things thinking, I have to have a killer painting or it's all a waste of time. And it's just not true. It's not a waste of time. It's all practice, and it's all helping you see and understand nature and how it looks in reality versus just working from photos, which can often be distorted and the colors are off and you can't actually see what's really going on with the light, the shadows, the values, the colors. All of that is distorted in a photograph. So getting outside and actually working from the real thing is the best possible way to practice your art. So I'm going to continue trying. It feels like an uphill battle. It's always a struggle and there's always a challenge, but that's what art is, right? It's all problem solving and practice and just constantly trying to grow and improve. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more plein air adventures like this. I sure love filming them. They're kind of a pain. There's a lot of stuff I have to carry, but for you all, it's worth it. I'll see you soon.